shaping policy or lobbying, that when there is so much money flowing in this issue in maybe the direction that we'd not like it to see flowing, how do you deal with that as well?
Well, you have a better argument. And fortunately, you may have the view of Beacon Hill as a wash in special interest, but it's really, as I said, a much more close experience, close to the real human being experience, which is why I like working there, why it's successful to work there, because these folks, these representatives and senators are in your community. They have to go to the grocery store and get harassed and bothered, badgered by people, so they have people to answer to. So it's a much more effective, citizen lobbying is a much more effective tool on the local level. I think, talking about a little bit what Kevin said, this is an abstract problem for a lot of, when you talk about global warming, a lot of the time it's an abstract issue. We're talking about sea level rise of 2 to 12 to 14 inches. This is, we're talking about the spread of disease. And what works, it worked in Brookline, where you're greening your buildings, was a concrete solution to a concrete problem. We spend too much money on heat. We're going to weatherize the building. We have to buy too much electricity, it's too expensive, and it comes from far away. We put solar panels on building tops. That's why local action is so much easier, because it deals with concrete problems. We do a program called the Low Carbon Diet. That's people going through their own homes, taking their own footprints and fixing their own footprints. To them, it's very concrete. It's very elemental. You may not like to do it. It may not be fun. But if you do it, you'll drop your carbon footprint. You'll probably save money on energy. And this is sort of the abstract. It's a little more spiritual. You'll eat closer. You know, you'll not drive so much and maybe get to know people when you're walking. But people understand that. And talking climate change, we have to find the thing that appeals to the person. It's not everyone is going to be convinced by ice core readings. Some people are going to be convinced about energy independence. This issue helps us save money, keep it here, and not send it overseas to people who may not like us so much or share our world. That won't work with another person who wants to talk about recycling or CSA, community agriculture, because 4,000-mile grapes don't taste as good as things that we grow next door and can and put our fingers in the dirt with. So you need to find the trigger for each individual person and each community to get them activated.
So oftentimes that triggers jobs, and I want to ask you about that. But before I do, are there any questions from the audience? Anyone? No one inspired just yet?
Hi, Tom Weitzman. I'd like to take it down just a notch. We're talking about the big picture, but one of the things that bothers me a lot that doesn't come through the press and seems counterintuitive is what you do about a day like today. When it's freezing and you know, we think, where is that global warming when we need it? Some of us look at these kinds of extreme weather conditions and think, oh my God, this is climate change, you know, at its worst. But in the popular perception, this is an indication that climate change is phony. And in fact, people got elected in the midterm elections on just this issue. So how do we make a simple, clear argument to people, to the press, that climate change shows up not just in deserts and fires and so forth, but also in snowstorms and all kinds of severe weather?